Hey you guys, I hope your weekend was really good and it feels like I haven't seen you in forever. I'm using a new program, so I'm down here at the bottom of the screen and you guys can actually see me. Um, so we are going to learn today about some one-step equations and just a little bit of the one-step equations, not the whole thing. But hopefully you've glued these 2 pages into your notebook and we're just going to talk through some vocabulary real quick and then actually solve some questions. So let's give it a shot. So the first thing says, and the answer is a one-step equation. I have a mouse. I was thinking a mouse would be better, but that doesn't even look like the word one. What does that look like? Kind of like Jacob's K's, right? They don't look like K's, Jacob. They're U's. All right, a one-step equation, and I'm just going to abbreviate equation as EQ, is defined as an equation that requires the use of one step or one operation to solve it. So our goal in algebra, we're starting our algebra unit. So our goal in algebra is to do what's called isolate. So if you think about what the word isolate means, it means to put by itself. So we're going to isolate the variable. And we've been dealing with variables in our last unit. They're just our letter. So we're going to isolate the variable. And then in order to do that, I'm just going to put, no, I'll write it all out, variable. And so in order to do that, we are going to use what's called inverse operation. To isolate the variable in a one-step equation, you use the inverse. And if you kind of think about, we use the word inverse with our properties. It means the word opposite. Like the opposite of positive 5 is negative 5. So we use the inverse of the operation shown. So this is what we need to know what the inverses are. So the inverse, or the opposite operation of addition, is subtraction. I'm going to abbreviate so I don't have to write so much. So subtraction. The opposite of subtraction is going to be addition. And these are the two that we're going to focus on today, is just the subtraction and the addition. Tomorrow, when I'm back, we'll focus on the next two, which is that the opposite of multiplication is division. You know what? I should just write the symbol. And the opposite of division is multiplication. So let's go ahead and we're gonna solve some of these problems together. Now I need to figure out how to get a new page up here. New. Do I want to save this? No. Okay. And I can make this bigger. And now I don't know what I did with the problems that we're going to do. Oh, here they are. All right. So here's our problems. The first one is x plus 3 equals 6. So go ahead and take a look at that problem. And what I like to do is and you guys might be able to look at this problem and say, oh my gosh, I know that x is 3 because obviously 3 plus 3 is 6. But what we need to do is our problems are going to get more challenging. So we have to be able to show the work that goes along with it. So that's what we're going to do today. I want to, tomorrow when I come back, I want to see really good work shown. So what I like to do is I actually like to separate the problem by drawing a line down my equal sign. So I just have a visual of the two parts of the equation. I'm going to look over here at the x plus 3, and I'm going to see that there is a plus sign or a positive 3. So the opposite we just talked about, the opposite of plus 3 would be to subtract 3, because our goal, remember, is to leave x over here by itself. We want to get rid of this plus 3. So to do that, we're going to minus 3. But whatever we do to one side of an equation, you have to think of it like as a balance, right? If two people are, or if there's like 5 people standing on one side of a balance and they equal 4 people, if one of the people step off of this one, it's going to not be balanced anymore. So if one person steps off of this one, then someone has to step off of this side also in order to keep it balanced. So the same idea happens. If we minus 3 on this side, we need to minus 3 on the other side also. So now what happens? Well, plus 3 and minus 3, that becomes 0. So essentially we can say that just goes away. And all that's left with is x, our equal sign, and then 6 minus 3 is 3. Now we can check this, and the way that we check it is what we did with order of operations, where we take 3, we take our answer, and we plug it in up where we see an x. So we say, all right, well, 3 plus 3 equals 6. 3 plus 3, yep, 6 does equal 6, so we know that we got it right. So this is the part, this is what it should look like on the check side of your notes. All right, let's keep on going. I guess I have to get a new one every single time. Nope. Okay. Next problem. 3 plus x equals 17. So again, this might be one that you can look at and say, all right, I know that 3 plus 14 equals 17, but we're going to show our work. So we're going to, if you'd like to, draw your line down, find your x, it's right here. So what is it that we need to get rid of? We need to get rid of this 3. In order to know if we're going to add or subtract, we actually have to look in front of the 3 and see that it's a positive because there's nothing there. So this is a positive 3, and the way we're going to cancel a positive 3 is with a negative or a minus 3. Whatever we do to one side, we're going to do to the other side. 3 minus 3 cancels. I just bit my tongue. And then we have x equals 17 minus 3 is 14. So that's our answer. Now on the check part of it, let's go ahead and check. We're going to take 3. We're going to add to it x. Well, we just found out that we think x equals 14. And say, well, does that equal 17? And 3 plus 14 is 17. So 17 does equal 17. We got it right. Onward we move. Let's keep going. Next one. Now this one's a little bit different. And the reason why is because x is on the other side of the equal sign. So 22 equals 4 plus x. If you'd like, draw your line down. So now x is over here. So if we want to get it by itself, we need to get rid of this 4 plus. We're going to look in front of the 4 and see that there's nothing there, which means the 4 is a positive. In order to get rid of a positive, we need a negative 4. So we're going to minus 4 from both sides. 22 minus 4 is 18. The 4 and the negative 4 cancel, and we're left with that. Now what I like to do is I like to actually flip it around, and I am going to ask that you guys do that also. We always want to start off with our x. So we're going to flip it around so that our answer is x equals 18. Let's go ahead and check that. 22 equals 4 plus 18. 4 plus 18 is 22, so 22 does equal 22. We know we got the problem right. Not certain I like this program, but let's keep going. All right, so we're going to get into some more challenging ones that have some more negatives in that might not be so obvious by just looking at it. So I'm going to go a little bit quicker, but you guys know that you can pause the video whenever you want. So here's our next one. 16 equals x minus 5. Draw your line down if you like. Here is your x. What do we need to get rid of? We need to get rid of this minus 5. The inverse operation of minus is plus, because that's what's going to cancel the 5. Whatever we do on one side, we do on the other side. Those cancel. 16 plus 5 is 21. So 21 equals x. We're going to flip it around so that x equals 21. Now we're going to check. So we're going to say 16. Does that equal 21 minus 5? 21 minus 5 is 16. So these two are equal. We're good to go. All right. This one's tough. X minus 4 equals negative 2. Don't forget, you guys can use your calculators. Here's my x. What do I need to get rid of? I need to get rid of minus 4. Opposite of minus is plus 4. Minus 4 plus 4 cancel. All that's left on this left side is x. Bring down your equals. Negative 2 plus 4 is 2. So the check is a little bit, you might want to use your calculator for the check, because now when we plug in 2 for x and we say 2 minus 4, does that equal negative 2? Again, 2 minus 4 is negative 2, so negative 2 does equal negative 2. We're good to go. All right, we have 4 more to work through. Let's see what happens. The first one, oh, this is a good one. What happens on this one? Hopefully you notice right away. What do you guys notice about this one? I wish you could respond or I could hear you. This becomes a big plus sign. So then we have our line. Here's our x. We want to get rid of this plus 3. The opposite of plus 3 is minus 3 on both sides. So we're left with x equals, these canceled out, 7 minus 3 is 4. So our check is 4 minus negative 3, because that was the original problem, equals 7. Make that a plus. So 7 equals 7. Check. We're good. Next one. Ooh, this is a really good one. 16, this does not do what you think it will do. 16 equals negative 4 plus whatever that is, x, line down. All right, so here's our x. What we want to get rid of is we want to get rid of this 4. If we look in front of it, then we see that the 4 is actually a negative. So the opposite of a negative has to be a positive, which is confusing because we see this plus sign here. And you might think, oh, there's a plus sign. The opposite of plus is minus. But it really depends on what's in front of the 4. And since the 4 is negative, the opposite of it is a positive 4 on both sides. 16 plus 4 is 20 equals, this cancels. We're left with x. So x equals 20. Checking, we get 16 equals negative 4 plus 20. We simplify negative 4 plus 20. It is 16, so 16 does equal 16. How many more do we have? 2 more. I'm driving right now, by the way, in case you're wondering where I'm not right now, I'm not driving, but on the Tuesday when you're watching this, I am driving home from Michigan. It's a 12-hour drive. So we usually leave around 4 in the morning. And so we'll get there right when you guys, hopefully we're back in Charlottesville right when you guys are getting out of school today. But let's see, what time is it? You guys will be watching this in the morning. I'll probably be in the middle of Ohio, which is so boring. It's just this long straight road, like no turns, no curves, just you drive straight for about 300 miles and it's miserable. So enjoy being in math because it's way better than what I'm doing, I promise you. Negative 10 equals x minus 9. Line down the middle if you like that. Here's our x. We want to get rid of the 9. It's a minus 9. The opposite is plus 9. Negative 10 plus 9 is negative 1. Flip it around. So x equals negative 1. And then we'll check and say negative 10 equals negative 1 minus 9. Negative 1 minus 9 is negative 10. So we're good. And last but not least, x plus negative 5 equals 8. Draw your line down. So this is another tricky one because you see this plus sign here and you'll think, oh, I need a minus. But what's actually in front of the 5 is a negative. So it tells us that the only way to get rid of that negative 5 is with a positive 5 because you have to have opposites to make it cancel. So these cancel. We're left with x equals 8 plus 5 is 13. Plugging it into check, we get x plus, nope, not x. We know that we think that x is 13. So 13 plus negative 5 equals 8. And when you plug it in your calculator, you don't have to put the parentheses. You can just type in 13 plus 5, make it negative, and that is 8. All right, so you guys are going to do some practice, some IXL, and work really hard today, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Now I need to figure out how to stop this program and make this video work. So bye, you guys.